Today, 2 pandemic unemployment programs ending as millions of Americans lose benefits from the federal government. We talked to 2 retailers about their Labor Day sales and how the pandemic continues to pose challenges. And Amazon plans to roll out its own Amazon-branded TVs, but one manufacturer could be a cause for concern. That and much more, coming up at NTD Business. Good evening. Great to have you with us. I'm Paul Graney. A new report from the Harvard Business School says the hiring system in the United States is broken. Automated resume scanning software is rejecting millions of viable job candidates. That's apparently causing problems in a labor market where businesses can't find staff and millions of job seekers can't find work. It says a key problem is that hiring software oversimplifies its criteria to weed out applicants. The study's author told the Wall Street Journal that some hospitals only hired candidates who listed computer programming on the resume, but they only needed people to enter patient data. One company rejected retail workers who didn't list floor buffing as a skill, even if they met every other criteria. Now, some businesses are changing their recruitment approach and they're already seeing benefits. They're significantly less likely to face shortage of talent or skills. That's good timing, too, as 2 major pandemic unemployment programs end today. One research firm calls it the largest cutoff of unemployment benefits in history, as over 7 million workers lose federal money. NTD's Colin Fredrickson has the details.
The largest halt to unemployment benefits in history. Around 7.5 million Americans have lost either their pandemic extended unemployment compensation or their pandemic unemployment assistance.
My inner voice is me yelling, screaming, trying to be like, what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna do.
Sleeplessness, it's a lot.
Yeah, there are any number of jobs that I could go out and do, but not all of them can support me.
Pandemic extended unemployment compensation gives additional weeks to people who are still jobless after their state benefits are used up. And pandemic unemployment assistance provides up to 79 weeks of unemployment benefits to individuals not eligible for regular benefits.
Considered temporary work. They're not all promises, but they do give you a chance to earn some money while you're waiting for the right job and the right opportunity.
Mark Dyson is the founder of the Voice of Job Seekers podcast. He says there are all sorts of temporary job options right now.
There's anywhere from clerical work to even management jobs where you'll be a temporary solution for the work that they have. Every position has a temporary job.
Some other tips? Apply for rental assistance. States like Oregon, Nevada, and New York allow renters to stay in their residences as the application is pending. You can also apply for food stamps. Benefits from the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program are increasing by an average of $36 a month per person starting in October. Colin Fredrickson, NTD News.
So with the Labor Day weekend almost behind us, how was it for business? Well, we're delighted to have 2 veterans from the auto industry and the furniture industry with us, 2 industries that have really been on a roller coaster since the pandemic hit us last year. Jeanette McNamara, 20 years in furniture, now leading strategy for Gardner White Furniture in Detroit in a role as Executive Vice President at Sussman, and Austin Germain, the General Manager at Land Rover Easton in Columbus, Ohio. Pleasure to have both of you guys with us. Thanks so much for coming. Austin, you guys usually have a Labor Day sale. This year, because supply of cars is so low, you weren't able to have it. Is this purely down to this chip shortage that we've been hearing about, or are there other reasons?
You know, I certainly think that the chip shortage has been a large majority due to the constraints and supply issue. But, with a car, there's on average 10,000 components in each vehicle. So that's 10,000 usually different manufacturers that have to come up with each of those. And for us, with the majority of our parts coming from the United Kingdom, which was hit particularly hard from the stay-at-home orders, it's definitely starting to show now. We knew it was going to have an impact. We were hoping that things would get caught up and that kind of lag wouldn't be as bad as it is. But, we forecast the next 12 months being about much of the same supply issue moving forward. And it's having an impact, absolutely.
What needs to happen in the next 12 months for it to iron itself out? What are the big problems?
I mean, certainly the largest one being the chip issue. They're starting to pull specific options off cars that require more chips than others. So a lot of the safety assist, self-driving, power running boards, heads-up display, those things are not available now on most of our high-end cars, which used to be a standard feature. So they're trying to make it work, and I give them their best. They're doing everything they can, but it's definitely showing. I mean, right now on the ground, we've got about a 3-day supply of new cars with Land Rover. So the Labor Day sale that we used to have is a little bit different this year. All of our customers that have been here are just ordering cars for the future versus taking one home today.
Incredible. Jeanette, you guys did have a sale this year. How's demand for furniture? I know last year there was a big push to redesign during stay at home. Has this continued through into this year?
It absolutely has. I think the emphasis on home and to stay at home continues, which is really great for the furniture industry. I think it's a mix out there. You've got people continuing to work half from home, half from the office. You've got school mixed half and half where, parents are still trying to educate their children at home, partially in the home and away from the home. But the emphasis on home continues to be strong in the furniture business. And I don't see it slowing down for a while with the emphasis on home and, COVID continuing to uptick a little bit with the new variants.
And in the furniture industry has had its own challenges as well around the pandemic. We had the price of lumber really skyrocket before it came down. We're also hearing about supply chain bottlenecks at the ports, etc., for imported products. Are we seeing the prices of these furniture? Is it going to stay elevated for a period or?
We're continuing to see supply chain struggles. However, I think teams are being nimble in where they're going to source furniture for. So where we're seeing outages maybe coming across from Asia or Vietnam, being nimble and the merchant teams staying focused on where they can get furniture the fastest, whether that's out of Mexico or right here in the United States. It's about being nimble and doing the best they can to get the furniture for the consumer.
And Austin, we know that the supply of cars is low, but is demand for cars increasing as well? Are people trying to buy it? Well, if it is, what is the main reason people don't want to use public transport as much as they maybe wanted to pre-pandemic, or?
I think that's part of it. We talked a lot about fractional ownership, ride sharing, even in our own company in the past. And when, the pandemic hit, that shut off overnight. So I think a lot of people, having their own mode of transportation, safety and security blanket that they want to have, whether it's on doctor's appointments, schools, anything like that, they want to have that car on demand. So it's changed. I think it's changed things significantly. It would have happened in the next couple of years, but the fact that the pandemic hit so suddenly, it reverberated that instantaneously. And I really don't see the demand slowing down. I think it's part of you want what you can't have. So with us being a luxury brand that's in the more high end in auto sales, certainly we're feeling that.
Because I've heard reports that even the producers and the manufacturers, they're preferring to manufacture the higher end cars because you have the higher margin. Are the consumers, are people willing to maybe spend a little bit more than they were in the past?
Absolutely, and we're seeing that on pre-owned sales. Record amounts for pre-owned cars right now. I think the average price of a pre-owned car sold last month was around $40,000 US, and that's the highest it's ever been. And new car prices are continuing to creep as well. So it's definitely having that upward rise in average sale transaction.
Interesting. Some awesome insights. Austin, Jeanette, thank you so much. It's not just the US seeing product shortages. IKEA shoppers in Ireland and the UK are having trouble finding the things they want. The store has run out of 10% of its supply over there. They say it's due to a driver shortage and shipping challenges. IKEA told Insider that high customer demand from people staying at home during lockdowns combined with the supply chain disruptions mean people can't find popular IKEA products. Out of around 9,000 IKEA product lines, 1,000 are unavailable. Products like mattresses are hard to find as well. The company does hope it can solve the issue in the weeks and months ahead. And Britain's largest employers group says the UK's economic recovery is being hampered by a lack of skilled people in key positions. It says the government needs to act to prevent the problem from dragging on for years. NTD's Patrick Hayden in London has more.
The UK is facing major labour shortages, including in retail, construction, manufacturing and hospitality. The Confederation of British Industry, or CBI, said Monday the problem could last 2 years. The hospitality sector is in urgent need of filling labour demand.
But in the majority of cases, this is simply volume of labour that we are missing, and vacancy rates are currently running at about 10%, which is double the level it was at pre-pandemic.
Brexit and the CCP virus have given the UK a double hit of disruption to its industries and economy. The government's furlough support scheme has paid workers who can't do their jobs during the crisis. That scheme is set to finish this month, and there is currently uncertainty in the hospitality sector. Nichols says 1 in 5 workers returning are not going back into the same job.
Well, we anticipate that with furlough ending, some of the labour market squeeze may ease a little bit. At the moment, UK workers have been able to be on furlough for one job and still work in another job, and they will have to make that choice and decision when furlough comes fully to an end.
Once the furlough scheme ends, it will be possible to assess unemployment levels. And Nichols says then there'll be a better picture of what the labour market looks like. She agrees with the CBI report in that the government needs to take steps quickly to help some of the workers that have left the country to come back.
And crucially, we've had 1.3 million non-UK workers leave the UK during the course of crisis. Most of them cannot come back due to travel restrictions. So we do need the government to look again at a temporary COVID recovery visa to allow a greater influx of workers to fill those gaps in the labour market.
CBI boss Tony Danker says the government's advice to stand firm and wait for shortages to solve themselves is not the way to run an economy. He says temporary targeted interventions by the government are needed. Patrick Hayden, NTD News.
As Austin Germain mentioned earlier, the auto industry is still struggling to navigate the computer chip shortage. Now, one small town in Texas is trying to get South Korea's Samsung to build a big plant there. It's offering some pretty enticing incentives. The city's called Taylor in Texas, and the proposed resolution from the city shows they plan to waive most of the property tax for the lamp Samsung would use. Could be up to 92.5%. City officials still need to vote on the proposal, though, and Taylor is competing with Austin, Texas, to land the plant. Samsung plans to invest as much as $17 billion for the factory. It's expected to create about 1,800 new jobs, and just for comparison, the city of Taylor has a population of only around 16,000. And Amazon's next product is its Alexa-powered home device series is a television. The goal is reportedly to make Alexa as omnipresent as possible. But one of the manufacturers Amazon's working with has been accused of spying on Americans in the past. Here's NTD's Evelyn Lee with more.
Amazon is planning to roll out its own TV in the U.S., and that could happen as soon as October. That will put the company in direct competition with other TV brands like Samsung, LG, and Sony. The TV will be equipped with Alexa and will come in sizes from 55 to 75 inches. Currently, it's designed and manufactured by third parties. One of the manufacturers is reportedly the fast-growing Chinese company called TCL. It came under fire late last year for allegedly using its TVs to spy on Americans. In a speech at the Heritage Foundation back then, the former acting U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security Chad Wolf said that TCL received support from the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP.
This year, it was discovered that TCL incorporated backdoors into all its TV sets, exposing users to cyber breaches and data exfiltration. TCL also received CCP state support to compete in the global electronics market, which has propelled it to the third largest television manufacturer in the world.
According to a person familiar with the matter, Amazon is also working on a separate TV that's designed in-house. It's still unclear how successful this approach is to increase user engagement with Alexa. The digital assistant is reportedly still mostly used for simple functionalities. That includes playing music or asking for the time. Evelyn Lee, NTD News.
And board members are stepping down at the parent company of Hong Kong pro-democracy newspaper Apple Daily. It's according to a stock exchange filing on Sunday. Next Digital's bank accounts were frozen in June and trading of its shares were halted. That meant the company could no longer legally pay employees. Apple Daily was obviously then forced to shut down, and some of its staff were arrested as part of a so-called national security investigation. Beijing imposed an oppressive new law on Hong Kong last year, and since then democracy and freedom have been increasingly suppressed. The board hopes that by liquidating the company, the government will let it pay its creditors and former staff. And several German automakers unveiled a series of new electric vehicles today in Munich. They're competing for more of the EV market. NTD's Andrew Thomas reports.
Renault CEO Luca De Meo showcased the fully electric E-Tech Megane Monday, praising its low driving position, reduced steering ratio, and low weight.
This is a true GTI among electric vehicles. With the new Megane, I believe we have the right product to tackle the core market for electric vehicles in Europe.
Volkswagen unveiled the ID Life. The fully electric small car is set for release in 2025 at a cost of around $23,000. It's an effort to make battery-powered cars more affordable for consumers. The ID Life is a key pillar of Volkswagen's goal to become the world's top seller of electric vehicles by 2025. Volkswagen aims to have at least 70% of its vehicle sales be all-electric models in Europe by 2030, and at least 50% in North America and China. BMW CEO Oliver Zipse unveiled the i4 fully electric limousine and the iVision Circular, a concept car made from recycled materials. Porsche also showcased its new all-electric Mission R. The new vehicle features an exoskeleton made from carbon fibers and new charging technology.
A game changer for electric mobility has been our 800-volt technology, which enables ultra-fast charging. It helped us to win Le Mans 3 times in a row.
The German automaker expects electric cars to open up a new world of racing and hopes the Mission R can compete in traditional motorsports. Andrew Thomas, NTD News.
And still to come this evening. A snack food fan sues the company that makes TGI Fridays onion ring snacks. What's got him crying? And Marvel's Asian superhero film Shang-Chi tops the US box office over the weekend. How much did it make? That and more in just a moment on NTD News.
Secure, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Secure is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Secure is 100% private and does not collect or sell any of your personal data. Secure's Helix technology connects you securely to our Swiss servers without the need of a VPN, guaranteeing privacy and security for all your communications. Secure Messenger doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. Chat by Invites allows you to chat privately and securely with anyone outside of your secure network without the need for others to download Secure. Secure Send offers you a private and secure way to email anyone outside of Secure. You won't find this level of privacy or security on any other email or instant messaging application. Visit secure.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
90% of news outlets in the United States are controlled by 6 corporations. They're not out to tell you the truth of what's happening. They're out to tell you the picture of the world that they represent. The mission of the Epoch Times is to chase the truth, to ground all statements in facts, and prevent people from being misled. This is a battle between truth and deceit. Subscribe today and join the Americans who are seeking truth and tradition. We'd love to have you on board.
Welcome back. A customer of TGI Fridays onion ring snacks is suing the maker of the snacks. He says they use onion powder and not actual onions. You might have seen the snacks in grocery stores and supermarkets. The law firm representing the Illinois resident bringing the lawsuit says the snack is misrepresented. It's not the first lawsuit over snack ingredients faced by Inventure Foods. The company also dealt with a lawsuit claiming its TGI Fridays mozzarella stick snacks contain cheddar instead of mozzarella. The onion ring lawsuit claims customers will think the flavor comes from real onions instead of onion powder. The company's first response is due in October. We'll keep you posted. And Labor Day weekend is usually a slow one for the box office. Not this year. We have the early three-day estimates for the top 5 films.
Jungle Cruise landed in 5th place with $3.95 million, giving it $107 million domestic. Paw Patrol the movie made $4 million, falling to 4th place. Free Guy picked up $8.7 million for 3rd place. It's approaching $95 million domestic.
And one day, I saw myself.
Candyman lost the top spot, but $10.6 million was easily good enough for 2nd place.
You have the wrong guy. Does he look like he can fight? Come on, bro.
What pandemic? Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings exceeded expectations, clobbering the competition with $71.4 million in its first 3 days, setting a new Labor Day weekend record.
The only film with a bigger debut than Shang-Chi since the pandemic began was another Marvel movie, Black Widow. It opened with $80 million back in July. And for $70,000, you can buy a private island in Scotland. Goldcrest Land and Forestry Group recently put the 22-acre island up for sale. It says there are no livable structures built at the moment, but the island reportedly has a variety of seabird and marine life, including dolphins, whales, and otters. It also features stunning ocean views, and visitors can sail, fish, and scuba dive there. Goldcrest describes the island as rugged and romantic. The company was founded earlier this year by 3 surveyors who used to work at a top forest and woodland company in the United Kingdom. Also in Scotland today, its independent whiskey maker Gordon and MacPhail has unveiled what it claims to be the world's oldest single malt Scotch whiskey to be bottled. It's expected to fetch up to $220,000 at auction. NTD's Andrew Thomas reports.
This could be the world's oldest single malt Scotch whiskey to be bottled at 80 years old. That's according to independent whiskey maker Gordon MacPhail. It was unveiled last week at Sotheby's auction house in London.
So it's about judging the moment when the whiskey is absolutely right. It's just drinking at its peak. And it was deemed, having studied it, obviously the evolution up to now, that now was the moment. The strength was great, the flavours are incredible, it's got a beautiful balance between the contributions from the oak, but still showing that original spirit character.
The whiskey was the first of 250 to be bottled from one cask at the Glenlivet distillery in Scotland. Decanter number 1 will head to Hong Kong for auction by Sotheby's in October, with a framed end from the original cask.
Because it's such a unique lot with decanter number 1, the designs by Sir David Ajay, the original cask end beautifully framed, and that incredible tasting, which will involve this whiskey, the sky's the limit. This will be such an incredible piece to own.
Architect Sir David Ajay designed the decanter and casket.
I hope that the bottle and the container, the architecture, if I can say that holds it, become part of a sort of ritual for drinking that whiskey. So in a way, it becomes a kind of performance.
The remaining 249 bottles will be available through general sale. Prices are yet to be revealed. Andrew Thomas, NTD News.
And a month after cruise ships were banned from the Venice lagoon, city authorities are now preparing to demand that tourists pre-book their visits on an app. It's going to charge day trippers between $3.50 and $12 to enter, depending on the time of year. Kira Lee reports.
St Mark's Square and the Rialto Bridge, iconic sites of Venice that attract thousands of tourists every day. From a control room inside the city's police headquarters, they're being watched. To combat over-tourism, officials are tracking every person. Using CCTV, optical sensors and mobile phone SIM cards, they can tell residents from visitors, Italians from foreigners. They know where people are coming from and where they are heading. A month after cruise ships were banned from Venice, city authorities are preparing to ask visitors to pre-book and charge day trippers between €3 and €10 to enter. City Director General Marco Bettini says there's no alternative.
I cannot guarantee a suitable visit to the city if we don't know how many people are coming to Venice. And Venice is an island, and is one of the cities that first in the world, I think, can prove that there is a physical limitation in the number of people that can be in the city at the same time.
Authorities have yet to decide how many people is too many. The new rules are expected to come into force between next summer and 2023. Some Venetian businesses worry about the impact on their sales.
I know also that there are some inhabitants of Venice who complain because there are too many people visiting the city, but I think that the city lives also thanks to the tourists. So maybe there are a little bit too many people sometimes, but they should definitely find another way.
One recent weekend, there were around 148,000 people in the historic centre of Venice. That's before the full return of tourists from the US and Asia.
That's the latest business updates for today, but you can still catch NTD Evening News with Stephanie Cox. That's at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. For NTD Business, though, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Don't forget to catch all of our programs on TV. NTD Evening News is on every weekday at 6:30 p.m. Find your local NTD channel at ntd.com/TV.